Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on our webinar, Creating the Complete Retail Solution, Commerce, OMS, and IIB. Today, our speakers will be Bharti Ramchandran, who is the Vice President of Product Engineering at Microsoft Systems. Our speakers also include Chandra Nuguri, who is the Practice Manager for Commerce at Microsoft Systems, and Shankar Nimani, who is a Sterling OMS developer from Microsoft Systems again. With that, I'll now hand it over to Bharti, who will now continue and move you through the agenda and the presentation. Bharti, it's yours.
Thanks, Shiva. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. And today's presentation is going to be a complete retail solution. And the agenda for this webinar is going to be quickly, we are going to run through our miracle story. And then we'll jump into the what do you mean by complete retail solution, and fulfillment and selling channel, and architectural overview, and understanding the use cases for this webinar that we have put together, and live demonstration if time permits at the end of the session. And there will be a Q&A session after this webinar, and you can raise your hands, or you can type in your questions in the chat window, and we'll be able to answer it appropriately. To tell about the miracle story, we are the systems integrator organization. We have been in the business for the last 21 years, and we have 2,000 plus employees, and then we have more than 15 plus technology partnership. And we have large number of certified professionals that are working in our organization, and then we have 12 locations globally. And we have worked with Fortune 1000 customers, more than 100 plus Fortune 1000 customers. The key objective for our organization is the customer satisfaction, and then the quality and efficiency product that we support for the businesses. And then we have a talented number of professionals in the business. And some of the industry verticals that Miracle Software Systems are working with, energy and utilities, and large sector of retail, banking and insurance, and healthcare, and manufacturing and automotive. And we have expertise in deep understanding. We have large number of thought leadership professionals that we are working with, and then we have some of the industry proven methodologies that we have in the integration and in the commerce and other areas that we work with. Some of the accelerators and framework that we have built for the customers, and then we have deployed in the customer's location, where it removes the large number of implementation time, and then quickly we can get into the market for that. And also we have 2 global delivery centers, support more than 1,200 associates back in India. Some of the strategic partnerships that we have, obviously IBM, we are premium business partner with them, and SAP, Oracle, and Microsoft, major partnership. And other partners include in the Apigee, and then Atlassian, and Pitney Bowes, and HP as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so with that, we will jump into our webinars today, complete retail solution. And the complete retail solution, starting from selling channel, and then fulfilling it, and then with an integration solution. Any retailer will have all these basic needs, and then they will have a different product sets. And in our webinar today, we have taken WebSphere Commerce, and then Sterling OMS, along with the IBM Integration Broker for this webinar. So with that, I will hand it over to Chandra Nuguri, who is our commerce expert, who is going to walk us through how they put together WebSphere Commerce along with the Sterling Order Management System with IIB.
Thank you, Bharti. And hi, everyone. This is Chandra Nuguri, and I will be going through the next upcoming slides on this webinar, Complete Retail Solution. So as Bharti explained about the previous slide, what makes a complete retail solution. So having perfect shopping experience to the customer and having a good platform where the integration happens between any two systems and having a good order management system. So what's better than having, as you can see in the slide, which talks about cross-selling and fulfillment, where we talked about IBM WebSphere Commerce, IBM selling order management system, and IBM Integration Bus. And coming to the IBM WebSphere Commerce here, which acts as a web channel, and it's an industry-leading e-commerce platform which provides a rich shopping experience for the customer, and it also provides, it has the capabilities to provide catalog management, merchandising, pricing, promotions, and so on. And coming to the IBM Integration Bus, which is an industry-leading enterprise service bus, which provides an integration platform. And here, in this case, it provides an integration platform between WebSphere Commerce and selling order management system. And coming to the selling order management system, which acts as the order fulfillment channel. And going to the next slide, which my colleague Shankar Nemanini is going to explain further on selling order management system.
Thank you, Chandra. Hi, this is Shankar. I'm a selling OMS developer at Miracle Software Systems. And we'll go through this slide, which talks about selling OMS and things it supports. So selling OMS is a selling and fulfillment suite which enables companies to optimize their multi-channel selling and fulfillment processes by enhancing how they interact with their suppliers, customers, and partners to deliver the order. So in this figure, you can see it talks about multiple aspects. Coming to the fulfillment methods, selling OMS can cater and be configured to accommodate multiple fulfillment methods, addressing the growing diverse needs of the businesses. As given in the list here, you can see a network of warehouses can be set up and pre-configured to handle order fulfillments, either working with large partner or a supplier, as in a traditional fulfillment method can be applied to OMS. One can also enable dropship feature on OMS, where a small vendor will be shared with details of order for direct shipment to the customer. Third-party logistics can be leveraged by integrating them into OMS fulfillment setup without losing the visibility to enterprise view of the process. Coming to the multiple channels, be it a retail store, a call center, via website, or at a kiosk, selling OMS allows customers to begin an order through any channel, complete it through any channel, and take delivery virtually anywhere. Selling OMS can address multiple customer segments. It is a comprehensive B2C and B2B order management and fulfillment solution that addresses the complexities of fulfilling order across multiple channels. It can also handle multiple product choices by simplifying challenging selling processes by automating the configuring, pricing, and quoting of complex products, services, and bundles. Multiple catalogs are supported and can be classified, for example, into products, delivery services, provided services, value-added services, etc. Multiple enterprise environment can be configured on OMS, where various brands or different divisions and business units and any new ecosystems can be set up. As a final note, selling OMS provides the ability to order from anywhere, fulfill from anywhere, and return to anywhere. Next slide, please. And Chandra.
Thank you very much, Shankar. And going forward, we're going to go through the roadmap where it covers architecture overview, the prerequisites, and configurations that have been involved in during this webinar. So coming to the architecture overview. So as we mentioned about three systems, IBM WebSphere Commerce, IBM Integration Bus, and IBM Selling Order Management System. So we took two modules, order and inventory, for this webinar to cover. So coming to the inventory, the inventory of an item is being maintained in Sterling Order Management System, and that inventory being cached in WebSphere Commerce through IIB. And coming to the order is being, engaged, where WebSphere Commerce acts as a system of engagement, where order being captured and order being transferred to the external order management system. In this case, it's Sterling Order Management System, which acts as system of record. As we all know, every system has its own EMS, which is Enterprise Messaging System, which will act as a messaging channel. And coming to WebSphere Commerce, we have SOAP over HTTP as a messaging system. And coming to Sterling Order Management System, we have XML over HTTP. So to make these two systems to communicate, we need an integration platform. And that's where IBM Integration Bus with Retail Pack version, with integration patterns, which are built-in. Retail Pack comes with IBM Integration Bus, which translates these two messages accordingly with its built-in JMS queue. Going to the next slide, which talks about the technology prerequisites that we have taken for this webinar. So coming to the WebSphere Commerce, we have taken version 7 with feature pack 5, fix pack 6 with latest APAR, and configured with DB2, IBM DB2, and published Aurora B2C Starter Store, and enabled DOM inventory and order. And for IBM Integration Bus, it's version 9.0, and for Sterling Order Management System, it's version 9.4 with Sterling Store add-on, and configured with Oracle 11G. Going to the next slide, which talks about the configurations. On top of these prerequisites, we need to configure a couple of things to make this end-to-end system work. So for IBM Integration Bus, as I mentioned, we have installed Retail Pack version 1.0, which includes WCS and Sterling Order Management System integration pattern, which comes with this Retail Pack version. And coming to the WebSphere Commerce, as we mentioned, we took two modules, inventory and order. For inventory, to configure inventory, we need to configure a couple of tables. As we can see in the slide, it's INV CNF and INV CNF rel table. These are the configuration tables that we need to make configured in WebSphere Commerce to make it work. So coming to INF CNF table represents the inventory cache configuration, and whereas INF CNF rel table represents the relationship between the item and the configurations which we will be setting up for the given item. And coming to the order, to configure order, and since we are talking about transferring this order to the external order management system, so we need to configure a couple of XML, as you can see in the slide under given path. So we have to enable asynchronous order transfer, and we need to enable side-to-side integration flag. So the given slide will explain where it has to be organized. So going to the next slide talks about selling configurations, which my colleague Shankar Nemineni is going to explain. Shankar, I'm going to pass the ball to you.
Thanks, Shankar. So in order to make Sterling OMS talk to IIB, a couple of configuration settings has to be made within Sterling OMS. As given in this slide, the main configurations are divided into 4 categories. One is customer override properties. Other one is setting up a real-time availability monitor, uploading catalog from WebSphere Commerce, and setting up a web services XML file. Customer override properties has to be set up on Sterling OMS configuration to enable the queues from IIB to be read by the OMS. Normally, in a installation, this properties file will not be found, so we have to manually put this into the properties folder of the OMS installation. It should include queue names, For example, in our case, it was a local Q1, local Q2. Any other details of the web service users, login details, and any other details of the queue configuration factory. It is the best practice to place all the properties into this file. To deploy this file, you need to run setup files command file or a shell script depending on the operating system, and OMS will automatically pick up these changes. In our scenario, we have considered a real-time availability inventory monitoring from OMS back to WebSphere Commerce. For that, we have to configure a real-time availability monitor, which is an out-of-the-box feature within OMS, but needs a setup. To set up real-time availability monitor, we need to set up an agent server, which will have JMS queue name, connection factory, and provider URL, and also update the criteria parameters such as raise event on, all availability changes, action, and monitor option. And also ATP monitor rules has to be set up, such as the name, lead time override, which is in days, high quantity boundary, medium quantity boundary, or a low quantity boundary, which are the threshold values when a trigger should happen and the message should be delivered to WebSphere Commerce through IIB. To start an RTAM agent, you can see the commands given in the slide, and a trigger can be set up using the following command. An integration server has to be set up with the details of the JMS queue, which are on the IIB. So this setup will enable RTAM to send a message onto the IIB queue, which will in turn be sent to the WebSphere Commerce. This enables real-time availability monitoring of the inventory. And coming to the next slide, before integrating WebSphere Commerce with OMS, one of the prerequisite steps is to upload the catalog from WebSphere Commerce onto OMS. In some cases, this will be on a central database where the catalog will be placed. In either case, we can upload the catalog onto OMS through a Sterling Business Center console, where we can simply go to the data upload and click master data upload and select the options, which could be catalog items or item price list or multiple options available there, and upload the file, and the file will be uploaded onto the OMS respective enterprise. This is a prerequisite step for the integration. And the next slide talks about enabling web services on OMS. OMS comes up with some standard APIs which can be exposed to the integrating applications. In our case, which is IIB. IIB speaks to OMS in two ways. One is puts the message into a JMS, which OMS will read through, and the other way is sending messages over HTTP, which will be discussed in the further slides. But for IIB to talk to OMS over HTTP, OMS has to expose its APIs. There is a file called named web services XML, which is in the repository ER data platform web services folder, and it has to be modified to include the service name and the APIs which are going to be exposed. There is an option to expose all APIs, but the recommended option would be to expose only the APIs which we want to expose. This update will require rebuilding and deploying the OMS onto the respective application servers. So this will be the basic recommended setup for integration of OMS with IIB. That's all from my side, and back to you, Chandra.
Thank you very much, Shankar. As we can go to the next slide. Okay, for this complete retail solution, we have selected 6 use cases so that we can showcase what we have done for this complete retail solution. So coming to the next slide, which talks about the first use case, which is inventory availability. So when a shopper adds an item to the shopping cart, so what's going to happen? So when a shopper adds an item to the shopping cart and trigger happens within WebSphere Commerce, it checks locally for the inventory cache. If that inventory is available within WebSphere Commerce inventory data model, then it will, shopper, everything goes fine. If there is no inventory available, then WebSphere Commerce makes a live call to Stelling Order Management System. As we mentioned, inventory is being maintained in here. So a live call goes as, through an API. And here the API we talked about is Get Inventory Availability SOAP API, which goes through IBM Integration Bus, so which will transform that SOAP request into XML and makes a call to Stelling Order Management System, and in turn it makes an acknowledgement back to WebSphere Commerce from Stelling Order Management System, and that respective inventory being allocated to that item for the shopper. So as there is another scenario where Shankar mentioned about the real-time availability monitor, which is out-of-the-box feature in Stelling Order Management System, which makes maintains the inventory cache within WebSphere Commerce on a regular basis. You can set it up on the thresholds what we have triggered in Stelling Order Management System, so that a trigger happens and it sends to WebSphere Commerce either through the data load or through the HTTP request, so that the inventory gets synced within WebSphere Commerce with its respective tables. So going to the next slide, which explains about step-to-step flow of this inventory availability, which we have discussed in previous use case. So going to the next slide, this is the next use case, which we talk about inventory reservation. So when a shopper checks out an item, so WebSphere Commerce triggers a real-time API call to reserve that inventory. So the inventory request goes to Stelling Order Management System through IIB, and which in turn makes an acknowledgement back to WebSphere Commerce, so saying that the inventory has been reserved, so the respective inventory gets reserved for that item. But there is another scenario where, when a user, shopper decides, okay, if the item needs to be changed or updated or removed from the shopping cart, then another trigger goes as cancel inventory. That makes another live call to Stelling Order Management System to cancel that whatever the reservation happened before, to cancel that reservation for that item, so that the inventory gets freed. So it makes a call back to WebSphere Commerce saying that the inventory has been canceled. So this is the flow for making a reservation of an inventory as well as canceling an inventory. So going to the next slide, it explains about the step-to-step flow of the inventory reservation as well as inventory cancellation, which explains about the next use case, how an order gets transferred from WebSphere Commerce to order fulfillment system. So when a shopper submits an order, so there are certain actions takes place within WebSphere Commerce to transfer this order. So a live call goes through WebSphere Commerce to IIB, and within IIB, as we mentioned about the out-of-the-box retail pack, which what happens here is in this process order, it will talk about order information, but we need a user information as well. So IIB, within IIB, it makes a call back to WebSphere Commerce to get person's information, and WebSphere Commerce responds back response back to IIB, and IIB merges order information with user information and puts it in a JMS queue, XML message, so that Sterling Order Management can pick it up and do its process, create that order within Sterling Order Management System. So this is the flow for the process order. So going to the next slide, which talks about step-to-step flow of the process order. Going to the next slide, this is the next use case which we took, which talks about order history. So once the order has been placed, every user or shopper is curious to view his order history or order details. So talking about order history, when he clicks on order history, so within WebSphere Commerce, what happens is two things. The orders that are not transferred to any external, in this case, Sterling Order Management System, if it is not transferred, then it pulls those orders from within WebSphere Commerce orders data model, and also the orders that have been transferred to Sterling Order Management, then it makes a call to Sterling OMS to get those orders, and within WCS, it merges those two orders and showcases to the user or shopper. So going to the next slide, which talks about the step-to-step flow of this order history flow. So going to the next slide. So this use case, it talks about order details. So when a shopper clicks on a specific order, then order details of that order will be displayed. So within WebSphere Commerce, as we discussed in previous slide, if the orders that are not transferred to WebSphere to OMS, then those order details will be showcased from orders data model within WebSphere Commerce. Otherwise, if that order has been transferred, then that order detail is being get from OMS through IIB to display to the shopper, so the shopper can see the order details. It talks about the step-to-step flow of the order details flow. This is the last use case, which talks about order status update. So as we have transferring order to OMS, and OMS maintains the order fulfillment, whatever changes happens within that order, those order status updates needs to be updated to WebSphere Commerce. So respective order statuses will be triggered from OMS through IIB to WebSphere Commerce, and respective order data model within WebSphere Commerce gets updated and showcases to the shopper. Going to the next slide, which explains about the step-to-step flow of the order status updates. And going to the next slide, which we thought of doing a live demonstration. So for that, Shiva, can you pass me the ball to showcase the screen? Thank you. So as you can see my screen, we have, as I mentioned before, we have published the Aurora B2C starter store. So as you can see my screen, I already added an item to the shopping cart, and I have fulfilled all the shopping information, billing information, and added an item to the cart. And this is, right now I'm in order review page and about to submit an order. So for this demonstration, we took process order as one of the use case. So how the order being transferred to Sterling OMS through WebSphere Commerce. So right now I'm going to place this order so that I will be in order summary page. As you can see, order has been created in WebSphere Commerce. This is my order number, and these are my rest of the information, which talks about shipping address, item of the order, shopping, the total cost of the item and billing information. So now this order should go to Sterling OMS. So my colleague Shankar gonna showcase the Sterling OMS piece. So I'm passing ball to Shankar.
Thank you, Chandra. So I'm now going to try and see if the order has been created. And in this case, the order number is 21501. I'm going to search for the order if it has been created. Hey presto, yeah. So you can see the order has been created with the order number being passed from WebSphere Commerce, and the billing details and item ID and the description of the item on this order on the screen. Thanks, Chandra. Back to you.
Thank you, Shankar. So that's where, let me showcase. Okay, Shiva, can you take over control so that you can showcase the next slide? Okay, the next slide is about Q&A session. So
thank you, Chandra. And we have seen a detailed a walkthrough of how WebSphere Commerce takes an order and then sends that order information to Sterling OMS via IIB, including how they have configured. And we have seen a live demonstration. And now we wanted to open up the line for the question and answer at this moment.
Thank you, Bharati. If anyone do have any questions, please raise your hand on the right side of the panel or put your questions on the chat box. Once again, if anyone do have any questions, please raise your hands on the attendee panel or put your questions on the chat box. Okay, since we do not have any questions, we'll just now close this session out. Thank you everyone for joining us on our webinar. For any more questions in the further or to set up a live demonstration or one-on-one session along with us, please shoot an email to marketing@mercosur.com. It's marketing@miraclesft.com. We would also love you to see you on our website. You can visit us www.mercosur.com. Tweet us at @team_MSS. View our new YouTube video that's really cool at youtube.com/Merkle4565. Like our Facebook fan page and get latest updates at fb.com/Merkle4565. Thank you everyone for joining us on the webinar. Have a great day.